Have you ever wondered how XML parsers can be exploited? These seemingly harmless tools play a crucial role in data transmission across networks. But like any technology, they come with their own set of vulnerabilities. Imagine a silent predator lurking in the depths of your system, quietly manipulating these XML parsers to their advantage. Sounds intriguing, doesn't it? Well, buckle up, as we are about to dive deep into the world of XXE attacks and XML parser exploitation. XML external entity or XXE attacks are a prime example of how XML parsers can be exploited. Let's peel back the layers on XE attacks. At their core, these attacks exploit a feature of XML parsers, which allow the definition of external entities. These entities can reference content on a system outside of the XML document, and therein lies the danger. Imagine an XML parser that's vulnerable to XXE attacks. A sitting duck waiting for an attacker. The attacker crafts an XML document with a specific structure, defining an external entity that references a file on the system. When the parser processes this document, it reads the file and includes its contents in the XML output. Sounds simple, right? But the implications are far-reaching and potentially devastating. It's like leaving your front door wide open, inviting burglars to walk in and take what they please. In the case of XXE attacks, the burglars can access sensitive data, confidential files, and even execute remote code. It's a chilling thought. But what does this look like in practice? Let's walk through an example. The attacker starts by identifying a vulnerable XML parser, perhaps one that doesn't disable the use of external entities by default. Next, they create an XML document with a doc-type declaration that specifies an external entity. This entity might reference a sensitive file on the system, like /etc/passqd on a Unix system, which contains user account details. Once the malicious XML document is injected into the system, the parser processes it and the referenced file is included in the output. The attacker now has access to sensitive information that they shouldn't be privy to. It's a cunning, sly maneuver that can lead to substantial damage. The severity of XXE attacks cannot be understated. They can lead to data breaches, denial of service, and even remote code execution. Tune in for the next scene where we delve into how to prevent these attacks and ensure your systems are secure. Now that we understand the threat, the question is, how do we prevent XXE attacks? One of the most effective ways to prevent XXE attacks is by disabling external entities in your XML parsers. These entities are the entry points for malicious actors to exploit your system. By disabling them, you're effectively closing the door on a significant portion of potential threats. This can often be achieved by adjusting the settings of your XML parser or by using APIs that are not susceptible to XXE. Next, let's talk about server-side input validation. This is the process of checking and sanitizing data input on the server side before it is processed. It's a bit like a bouncer at a nightclub, checking everyone's ID before they can enter. If an input is unexpected or potentially harmful, it gets rejected. This method can help to prevent XXE attacks by blocking malicious XML input before it can do any damage. But what if an attacker finds a way around these measures? This is where keeping your software up to date comes into play. Software developers often release updates to patch vulnerabilities that have been discovered in their software. By regularly updating your software, you can ensure that you're not leaving yourself open to known vulnerabilities that could be exploited in an XXE attack. Of course, these strategies are not a one-size-fits-all solution. Depending on your system architecture and the nature of the data you're working with, you may need to implement additional measures. This could include using less complex data formats that are less prone to attacks, such as JSON, or employing a web application firewall for an extra layer of protection. In the end, preventing XXE attacks comes down to a combination of good practices and vigilance. Regularly monitor your systems for any unusual activity Educate your team on the risks of XXE attacks and always be prepared to adapt your strategies as new threats emerge. Remember, the best defense against XXE attacks is a proactive approach to cybersecurity. Let's recap what we've learned today. XML external entity, or XXE attacks, exploit vulnerabilities in XML parsers to gain unauthorized access to data. They're a significant threat in our digital world, but they're not invincible. By disabling external entities, implementing server-side validation, and keeping your systems updated, you can fortify your defenses against these attacks. Awareness and action are your best allies in this fight. Stay safe in the digital world. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep securing your cyberspace.